brought
We're
the
not
band
doing
back.
that.
No, you got to do that.
We're not doing that.
You
There's
can't-
no ties.
No way you cannot
There's
do
no
that.
ties.
I'll give you a formal
There's no
one.
ties in
There's
1 through
definitely
10.
a tie.
There's no tie.
You can't make that rule up, and I'll give you
How?
why.
I can't make the
I'll
rule
give you
up.
why.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna just speak to the judges. Are y'all okay with a tie at number 1? Hey, I'm Rocsi Diaz. Billboard and Tres Generaciones Tequila are on a journey to celebrate the impact of music, both on a personal level and as a community experience, by curating panels of artists and industry tastemakers to identify the Get Up Anthems for cities nationwide. This stop, we're in the A, home of the Peach Tree, and of course, trap music. Thank you, Nika. With me today is a titan in the music industry, celebrated for his profound influence and lyricism, Killer Mike. Alongside him, renowned producer London on the Track, whose signature sound has shaped the landscape of modern hip-hop. Damien Scott, Billboard's deputy editorial director, and Trevor Anderson, a music expert and all-around fact checker working within the mighty Billboard charts team. Now, a few days ago, we gathered to kick off the selection process for Atlanta's Get Up Anthems. Now, beginning with Billboard's exclusive chart data, we narrowed these 30 songs to 10. We'll first discuss each of these 10 songs and then assign each song its place on the top 10 list, ultimately crowning Atlanta's #1 Get Up Anthem. Now, before the fun begins and we get into our deliberations, let's raise a glass to Atlanta's rich musical heritage, courtesy of triple distilled Tres Generaciones Tequila. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Say that 10 times fast.
Tres generaciones, 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 tres generaciones.
We put a beat under that. We got a song.
The fact that it was so challenging to even think of a top 10 for Atlanta, it just shows how much great music comes out of the city. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it and see what our first song is gonna be to talk about. All right. March Madness, Future.
Man, best song ever made.
Best in the world.
Future in general, just, he's like contagious. Like you gotta get him.
Man, he Atlanta cool, through and through. Like, man, that March Madness is just unbelievable.
You know, the one thing about March Madness that's kind of funny, I think Future's fans kind of don't understand how it got sort of fumbled in terms of how it did on the rollout, because it was out on SoundCloud, it was around, the label didn't quite pick it, they were looking at other songs for singles, so it ended up being number 35 on the R&B hip hop side, but it had 11 weeks on, so I think for people, this is one of those songs that, you know, just the cultural, just like what it's done in the long tail is bigger than it really did in the moment on the charts. I will say, shout out to the Billboard edit team, because they did, at the end of 2019, they called it one of the 100 songs that defined a decade. So that just shows the impact and the reach that it had.
I think that March Madness definitely is an anthem, but I don't think it is Future's anthem for Atlanta. I think there is another Future song. I feel like there's another Future song. I think he has more songs too.
He got a lot of anthems.
I'm saying that this is definitely an anthem.
He got a lot of
but I
anthems
feel
for
like
Atlanta,
he
but-
has so many songs that you can.
You could do a whole top 10 with
That's
you.
what I'm trying to say.
Everything from
So
the title
his entire
to the track, that's just one of the ones
Okay.
where it's just like what Future's been able to do with the Atlanta accent, that gravelly, raspy voice and melody and harmony playing with it. What he does in Atlanta affects to me globally. You know, you can't tell me that the kids that are coming out of Africa don't listen to Future.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that the kids in London, because I'm in London. You know what I mean? You can't tell me the Future ain't pumping, and it is. So I think Atlanta won. And ultimately, that's how I feel, and I think that Future is, you know, in a lot of ways, our Tom Brady.
I feel like if you saying Atlanta anthem, the one, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
No Play in GA, Pastor Troy, 1998.
Some Mike special right there.
Yeah, just cause like P had a grip on the world. Like it wasn't nothing bigger than Master P. And when Troy was audacious enough to do that skit at the beginning. Hello, Master Peter. Hello, you I'm looking for Pete. Tell Troy, hey, it was literally trolling. But I remember when Pete coming up here for a show, Pete had extra security. Like Pete thought it was something crazy, but it was just this dude with this amazing record that was trolling. But the record was so amazing. The Georgia Bulldogs play it, the Atlanta Falcons play it, the Atlanta Hawks play it. You hear it at Little League games. You might hear this at a church picnic. You know what I'm saying? So I think, and Troy had some great records even after that, like Heaven and Hell and stuff. But he doesn't often get the accreditation of being one of the guys who deserves to be on a monument or a mountain, but he does.
He does.
For the anthems he's given, and that record will never die. I put it at, emotionally for me, it's a number one, because it clearly defined we're no longer following anyone.
Okay.
Like it clearly said New Orleans, Houston, Tennessee, Miami, which were all the cities that were big bros to us. It was like, nah, we ain't little bro no more. And that was it. So I'll give it number one for now. I know it's gonna get knocked, but for right now, yeah, it's number one.
Cell Therapy, Goodie Mob, 1995.
Goodie Mob executed that record in a way that challenged your thoughts and perspective on Atlanta, helped you challenge and grow your mind. No one was talking or thinking that provocatively. No one thought Southerners thought that provocatively. It was a 1-2 punch. Like just when people thought, oh, we got you, we got y'all sound, you hear doom, 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 doom. That record to me is still one of the ones where it's just like, it's so Atlanta. Like if you might be in there and might not realize what in the hell is going on if you're not from Atlanta. But if you're from Atlanta and that Cell Therapy comes on, it's like, it's a moment because it means something to people. It's like they get taken back to whatever Atlanta public school they went to. They get taken back to whatever moment they first heard it. I can remember going up and down the East Coast, that record would be popular at places OutKast haven't even broken yet.
Yeah. How did it do on the charts?
Yeah, this is a record that is a big breakthrough for Atlanta. It got to number one on the Hot Rap Songs chart. So the fact that at a time when Atlanta's not really, known on the established on the national scene like that, to get to number one on a national chart like that, I mean, that was a big breakthrough that sets up a lot of the OutKasts, of course, 10 years down the line, Atlanta's running the rap chart. But at that time, it was very East Coast, West Coast dominated. Again, you might have one or two breakthrough. So to go all the way on a national level, that's big.
Players Ball.
Yes.
OutKast.
Yes. All the players came far and wide. Man, that's what Atlanta is. Atlanta is a city where you don't have to be native to this city, but if you're a player, it's where you want to be. And I don't mean that in just a street way. If you coming to look to make your way, and DC too cold for you, Philadelphia might have been too rough, Chicago and Detroit might not have been there. Atlanta's here for you. If you're a black person from anywhere in the world and you want an opportunity, doesn't mean you're gonna win, but you want an opportunity. This city's here for you. And Players Ball to me represents the invite. It makes you feel good. It makes you say, I gotta get to Atlanta. It is the quintessential invite to a city where opportunity abounds for people who look like the people that are in this circle.
Being from the Northeast, you just never heard anything like that before. And I don't know, it's like people say it a lot, it's like a watershed moment, but like that was like a moment where it was like, nothing was the same after that, right? It was like everything that was produced after that was informed by this thing that these two kids made. And I mean, to Mike's point, I don't think we get anything else, but if you don't have this, right?
That's why it's a number one. What did it do?
Yeah, chart-wise, I mean, again, Mike dropping the gems. The fact that Atlanta really hadn't had that kind of, most of the things coming out that time were more like on the chart side, the girl groups, TLC, Escape, were like sort of the So Def family was taking things over. But for OutKast's first time out, I mean, to get a number one on the Hot Rap Songs chart, 6 weeks.
But OutKast just, man, once they drew that line in the sand, and with Organized Noise, what they did with their first album, it just transformed everything, and it just let you know everything was possible.
Okay.
Sounds like number one.
Shoulder Lean, Young Dro, 2006.
How big was Dro down here?
How big is Dro down here?
Like back then, how big was he?
How big is Dro?
Excuse me, how big
Dro
is Dro?
was big then. To the degree his first radio check, I think, was like $1 million. So Dro is big, right? Every year, Dro has a song. he just jams. So when Shoulder Lean pop and when him and Tip was together, it was just like, woo. And now PSC got an album coming back out, so it seems like we're gonna get some more of that for another.
What's your number one Joe record? Young Joe record.
Man, it's so many, man. It's the
Let me tell you mine. I think
Which
mine. Nightlife. Remember that?
What's how Nightlife?
Oh, tell your girl about this night. Man.
Right.
That was my anthem.
Oh,
We really starting to see the shaping of your young life right now,
you
too.
was a wild little dude,
Man, I love that record.
How big was the Dro song?
I mean, it was crazy. #1 on rap. So for 3 weeks, first time out to get that top 10 on Hot 100. So it wasn't even, just the rap crowd. It was a crossover hit across the board. This is one that's, especially at this time, like, with Dro and T.I. together, this is maybe Atlanta's like best moment in those couple years. So I mean, this is right up there with them.
And again, another song that you play still today.
And
Still
it's
do
Yeah,
the dance.
and it
You
still
know, you
goes.
still do the dance.
Shoulder Lean gonna mess
Yeah.
around and be a swag song.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's it.
Yeah.
Just take the right team to believe, and there you go.
'24's T.I. Could not do this conversation without talking about Tip.
Can't not talk about Tip.
So 2003, this song came out.
I think Rubber Band Man. though.
Rubber Band
Yeah, I think it's this or Rubber Band Man.
Yeah, I think it's Rubber Band Man. Because Rubber Band Man describes like an Atlanta guy.
Like a lifestyle.
Yeah, 24s is, now they ride 28s, 32s, they're going with, but Rubber Band Man to me gives an identity. I like every dude who put on a New York hat and cock it, so I always think he Jay-Z for the moment. Like, you pop up, man, and see a club full of dudes, them A-hats starting to tilt to the side, and man, that Rubber Band Man come on, it's it. So to me, like, that Rubber Band
I remember
Man.
going to clubs and people are just showing the rubber bands off.
Exactly.
Instead of like, they're not showing off nice watches or chains.
rubber
They're
band.
literally rolling up their sleeves and pulling rubber bands out. I can't overstate how big and impactful this song was. And I think the whole album is just incredible. Trap music, we all know what trap music is now, and we all know what T.I. went on to do, but my goodness, this song was...
I mean, I think Atlanta, I think Tip. I land at the airport.
Yeah.
His pictures and one of the snapshot pictures that they have in Hartfield's airport. So it's like T.I. is in Atlanta and Atlanta is T.I. So,
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna scratch out 24th.
think
I'm
we
gonna
have
put
Rubber
Rubber
Band
Band Man on here right now. Nuck If You Buck, 2004, Crime Mob, Lil Scrappy.
I was at a Joe and Tamia concert like a month ago in Brooklyn. So the aunties, during the intermission, they played Nuck If You Buck. Everybody was, people 40, 50, like that song, that power that song has. And I think especially, shout out to Princess and Diamond, because I think especially, when you have 5 on the track, especially if you're all breaking new, it's hard to stand out. And especially like for the women, those two,
The
like
girls
so many
went
people say those two
crazy.
verses,
That-
they washed it.
To
Like,
me, it's a predecessor to like the female movement we have now. What was dope about Crime Mob is the guys didn't hate on the gals, and they really encouraged. Like when you seen them in shows, they would. But man, Princess and Diamond, what they did to me, man, do we get the movement of raw Southern street-ish rappers?
You play that record and you definitely, like, it's one of those hard rap records that ladies are waiting for that verse.
Yeah.
You could literally play the verse and then go straight into the ladies' part, because that's the one that's gonna be ready. And all of a sudden your voice, your pitch gets so high when we start singing into that. But the energy that it would bring to the clubs back then, London, do you remember that time?
Yeah, I do. It was very impactful, man. Nah, it was very impactful back in the day. So, that was one of the biggest songs in the club. So,
And again, another one that crossed over even
for a while,
to
too.
LA,
For a while.
New York, wherever you were in Miami, it was just everywhere.
It's big everywhere, period.
Yeah.
Outside the club, streets, cookouts, everywhere.
Lifestyle, Rich Gang, Young Thug, Rich Homie Quan came out in 2014. for me, that's what makes a song feel so great when you don't even really realize how long ago it came out.
Yeah.
Because when you hear it, it still has the same reaction. And to me, that's what gives great artists longevity. And watching, you know, like a Young Thug coming out in Atlanta, I mean, just for you, how does that influence you musically when you're in the studio?
I mean, when we made that song particularly, we didn't have nothing. No house, no car. We made this in an apartment somewhere. I recorded them. It was just a great feeling, man. We were just speaking the truth of what we was going through at the time.
Did you ever think that this song was gonna be, one, as big as it is, but two, also now being used against them?
Yeah, when we finished it, I knew it was gonna be that one. Yeah, and we all decided to put it out.
Do you know that feeling right away?
Yeah, I do.
Can you tell me the lottery numbers too, because you can tell the future?
I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that.
Classified. From a chart perspective, I mean, a big hit. It was number 16 on the Hot 100. And this is the time, like we're talking 2014, there is no shortage of rap hits. We're talking number 4 on the Hot R&B Hip Hop Songs chart. So, you know, at the time we got Drake obviously out here dominating, Nicki. You've got, I mean, even the pop rappers that are coming in, artists like Macklemore, Iggy Azalea. So to get through all of that and really put a stamp on that, like that just shows just how big a record that was at that time, for real.
I think the craziest memory around that song for me is we went down to Ferguson when that was popping off to go document it. And when we got to the main avenue where everyone was protesting, we got out of our car and every car on the block was playing that song. I thought we were gonna get there and people were gonna be playing like Sam Cooke, like Change Gonna Come or something. I thought it was gonna be like some somber protest music, but no, we got out of the car and like everyone lined up down the block was playing Lifestyle and dancing to it and marching to it. It was like, that's like a seared into my brain about that time. That's how big the song was. It was like,
it's like a peephole or a window into something that a lot of people just do not understand. You know what I mean? And it describes it so beautifully at the end of the day. It's a lifestyle. It is what it is.
It's crazy because he freestyled the whole entire song.
Really?
The whole entire song.
That's insane. Probably one of my favorite songs right here. So Icy, Gucci Mane, Young Jeezy.
So I'm gonna say just number one at this for me.
that's a real
But I'm
number
gonna
one
say
right
this
there.
because oftentimes Lil Will, who sang that, is not given enough credit. He sang the same guy who did Looking for Nicki, who Big Boy rapped about. I gave a Lil Will CD and a poster. Did So Icy. He to me was a Nate Dogg-ish figure. Like if you went and grabbed Lil Will, it felt like something. But man, Gucci and Jeezy were not at war. And that's what I loved, when Atlanta wasn't at war with itself. And you know, as success happens, wars are gonna happen. People are gonna fall out, egos and insecurities come into play. But for that moment in time, it was everybody was together. And you know, So Icy was dope. Jeezy and Gucci were dope in continuity. We wouldn't hear them together again until a verses, when they were versing each other.
Yeah.
So for me, that was just a magical time. So it's all nostalgia. Lil Will's, of course, Dungeon Family affiliated guy. So it was good to see that in the mix. But as Atlanta was changing, the trap music was becoming the predominant sound. Man, it was good to see the two biggest trappers at that time, you know, in unison. I miss that type of unity in the city.
And Jeezy's sound, like just, that's another thing what I learned.
You mean his voice sound?
That's
'Cause
what
the
I
song
was gonna say.
Gucci's
No.
song. Yeah.
I'm saying Jeezy's sound, like just people's voices that I love as a female. Because listen, we listen to the dialect, we listen to how guys sound, and Luda is one of those voices that you just know off the top. And Jeezy is another one. The way he rapped, the way ladies love to listen to Jeezy.
They're one of the best voices, and we can't forget to mention Shawty Red, because prior to that sound that we know him for, it almost sounded like Jeezy had a Floridian flow. Like it was a little more sped up. It was comparable to even say a Trick Daddy. But whatever he and Shawty Red did when they sat down and worked, that's why, man, a producer's like having a good third of a first base coach. You know, you're a great player, but if you got that coach right there, like telling you, hold, pause, don't run, watch this, look at this. You know what I mean? You're going to be sharper because it's a person who's an ally and advocate. So whatever he and Shawty Red were doing, man, it just was magic.
What's kind of interesting to me about this one is it got to 46 on the R&B hip hop side, which, I mean, for some people that might be like, okay, 46. But it lasted for 20 weeks on the chart. So usually something that is, kind of has this thing where it hung around for so long, even though maybe it didn't pop on a national level like that. To me, that kind of suggests that like a regional powerhouse like Atlanta, like that was probably being spun so much on the radio here that maybe it didn't necessarily break in Cali and New York and all that kind of thing. But like as far as Atlanta support, Southern support, it really must have been there.
And last song, Never Scared, Bone Crusher, 2003.
Interestingly enough, I just got to say this because it is a truth to it, that it originally was Bone Crusher and two guys from Mississippi, Reese and Bigelow. And Dan, who owned Bone Crusher's label, Crusher was like, had brought me in on it. And all of us from the West Side, Dan, Crusher, Tip, they brought it, they put it together. I don't know how things got or ended up with it just us, but that's the way it ended up. And I'm thankful for the record, hell of a record, but I just got to give a salute to Reese and Bigelow, because sometimes, the guys get forgotten, and I don't want them to be forgotten in that. But that record, you put that record on in Atlanta, man, it is like, it's a war cry, you know what I'm saying? It's a rally call, so.
But I also want to say, just to show the long tail of that record, as like a war cry, like a here we go in the battle anthem.
Yeah.
That thing holds up like nobody's business.
As FIFA comes to Atlanta, in the next year or two, they're gonna have the soccer, that record's gonna get played a lot.
1,000%.
Yeah. I mean, on the chart side, major hit, got to top 10 on the rap side, number 6, top 10 on R&B and hip hop combined as well, and top 40 Hot 100. So it was a hit across the board.
It's definitely an anthem for Atlanta for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't make it number 1 for me though.
Now it's time to assign each song its place on the top 10 list. Let's say where we think that they belong. All right, because if we,
Okay.
can we all agree
I
on
would
a
say,
number one?
yeah, Players Ball.
Players Ball.
I can agree.
But I would also tie Players Ball with Rubber
We're not
Band
doing
Man.
that.
No, you got to do that.
We're not doing that.
You
There's no
can't-
ties.
No way you cannot
There's
do
no
that.
ties
I'll
in-
give you a formal
There's no
one.
ties in
There's
1 through
definitely
10.
a tie.
There's no tie.
You can't make that rule, and I'll give you
how I
why.
can't make the
I'll
rule
give you
up?
why. There are 2 distinct eras in Atlanta. The first one being the premier era, where we said we're not just a little brother to Miami. We have our own sound. The second was the redefinition of what that sound was. To me, those things are equally important. T.I.'s trap music, Rubber Band Man, is equally as important as Players Ball, because they defined what Atlanta was going to be for the next 20 years. And you can't unimportant one of those for the other, because they were both drastically informative of what we were going to become.
I like the fact that he's putting those 2 at
That's
number
the
1.
top. That's the way Atlanta works.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna just speak to the judges. Are y'all okay with a tie at number 1? Because I'm not gonna get past this.
All right,
Okay,
there we go.
There we go.
All right.
Tell me what your number 2 is.
So I do those 2 tied at 1. I do March Madness at 2, and I do Cell Therapy at 3. March
Madness.
Boom.
Is number 2 then?
Yep.
Okay. Cell Therapy, number 3. No Playing GA, Nuck If You Buck. Who's 4? Who's 5?
Look if you buck 4.
Yep. No more
My
playing
bad.
GA 5. Yeah. So top 5 is taken care of.
Top 5 is taken care of.
Okay.
6 through 10. Shoulder Lean belongs to top 6 to 10.
Top 6.
Okay,
I put
so
Shoulder Lean
at what number?
I
like
might,
Shoulder
I might
at
throw it
6.
at 6, yeah.
You like it at 6? Okay. So who do you believe it goes at number 7?
Lifestyle.
7 would be Lifestyle for sure.
I'm gonna put Damn next.
Damn.
We ain't got no crunk song that? Yeah, we got it something.
8. Pick at number 9 and number 10 now.
I put IC9.
Yeah, I'm with Icy next.
All right, at number 10.
Just put Never Scared at 10 as my vote.
There we go. Guys, we have our 10 with a tie at first. At number 10, we have Never Scared, Bone Crusher, of course, Killer Mike.
And T.I.
Yeah, up there, and T.I., all right. So Icy at number 9. Damn at number 8. Lifestyle at number 7. Shoulder Lean at number 6. No Playing GA at number 5. Number 4, Nuck If You Buck. Number 3, Cell Therapy. Number 2, March Madness. And tied at number 1, Players Ball, OutKast, and T.I., Rubber Band Man.
Yeah.
I need a shot after that for sure. Thank you so much to Tres Generaciones Tequila. A cheers, guys. Congratulations to the top 10.
Love and respect.
Thank you, guys.